Is it still possible to get a J1 Persecution Waiver approved in 2025? Well, you'll want to stay tuned to watch this video because we're going to talk about how we did it. In this case, we responded to a request for evidence when the client filed the case on their own. Hi, my name is Coach Ranchod, and I've been practicing immigration law for over 23 years. We love taking on J1 waivers and handling J1 waiver cases, and we're going to be talking about what we did to overcome a request for evidence in this case. Our client was a Fulbright scholar, and she was a remarkable and outspoken woman in Cameroon. Our client received a devastating request for evidence, despite the fact that she did provide a compelling statement with her J1 waiver application. In our applications, what we like to do is not just provide a statement, but also provide a legal brief that outlines all of the hardships and makes legal arguments on your behalf. And in our request for evidence, we were able to rehabilitate the case, but let's look at how we were able to do that. In the request for evidence, they were questioning whether or not she really had a valid claim of persecution. Now, the challenge that we had in this case is because of the risks involved, we were not able to get additional documentation for her to support the RFE. Because this was a persecution case, she couldn't get more documentations. Nevertheless, we took on the challenge. Our response to the request for evidence was built entirely on our own research, hundreds of pages of documentation meticulously curated to bolster the case. We demonstrated how our initial evidence aligned with consistent, up-to-date reports from the U.S. Department of State and leading human rights organizations. We cited the 2023 Human Rights Report on Cameroon to show that Anglophone Cameroonians, particularly those active in the diaspora or linked to political expression, face credible threats of persecution. We drew direct lines between her experience and the government's documented patterns of retaliation, unlawful detention, and political repression. Now, we also underscored that the client's original evidence already met the legal standard. Her sworn statement was detailed, credible, and corroborated by the context of Cameroon's current political crisis. Our argument not only focused on the strength of what she already submitted, but also on the country conditions that validated her fear of returning home. We're grateful that in a case where everything could have fallen apart after the RFE, we were able to respond and get it approved. Now let's talk about the timelines as well, so you understand how long it took for this case to get approved. She filed the case on October 18th, 2022. The case was approved February 11th, 2025. So you'll see that the case took a little over 2 years. Now it's important to note that this was a Fulbright program case and there was the request for evidence, so that adds 90 days onto the processing times, because in this case we needed the full 90 days to respond to the request for evidence since we were hired for that and we wanted to make sure we were preparing a very comprehensive response. This is the kind of case where strong advocacy matters, and if you have questions about your case, you can reach out to us at 916-613-3553. I invite you to take a look at our other persecution waiver cases that we've done videos on, or take a look at some of our J1 exceptional hardship waiver cases where the client did get Fulbright funding. Thank you, and bye for now.